Teams still looking for their first hit of the weekend with runners in scoring position. As for their opponent, Oklahoma State has outscored the Longhorns 8-2. And Megan, it's been the bottom part of the lineup that's done a lot of the damage.
Yeah, Chelsea Alexander, not only did she come up clutch yesterday with the 2 RBI double, she's leading the team in batting average, .421. Just a great bright spot in this lineup. And again, yesterday, so big getting those 2 RBIs.
The Cowgirls offense will be facing Molly Jacobson, the grad transfer, making her 13th start of the season for the Longhorns.
Yeah, I think this is not a big surprise here. I think we wanted to see her yesterday and yesterday's start, but going to go ahead and get her that start. This is a Texas pitching staff that are trying to still establish their starters and how they're going to want to use them in a rotation. And even though Texas knows now that they are out of the race to be second place, I think, again, that's why we're going to see Jacobson get that nod, because as you and I talked about earlier, they're going to start looking how she can help carry this team deeper into the postseason.
Which is right around the corner. Just one series to go after this weekend. Kylie Naomi at the plate, facing Jacobson, who came on for the final 2 outs of yesterday's loss. Did Molly Jacobson, leads the team and wins this year with 12, had 19 total victories in her 2 previous seasons at Ole Miss. Naomi fouls one off. Oklahoma State, meanwhile, has won a program record 13 consecutive Big 12 games, 13-1 in conference play.
Yeah, I think you're watching a team really come together after that Kansas loss. I think that's something that Coach Gajewski, very first game of Big 12, he just felt like it was not the best play. They had 5 errors in that game, and he, as he said it, he called it disgusting play, but he also turned it into a positive, which he's so great at doing. He said, you know what, but it was a big wake-up call for not just myself, but the team as well, that you don't get to play complacent, that every team's going to come out and test you.
That one off the glove of Washington at third, as the freshman getting a second straight start at the hot corner.
Yeah, and for Naomi, that's what she needed. She was hitless on the weekend. So for this leadoff and Oklahoma State, it's a great start.
Kylie Naomi, 6th all-time in stolen bases at first. So here is Cheyenne Factor, the junior center fielder from Yukon, Oklahoma. Naomi on first after a single. The fielding for Texas, exactly what it was yesterday. The infield, Washington, Parker, Jefferson, Sullivan, Iakopo behind the dish. In the outfield, Burke, Rhodes, and Ellsworth. Factor slices one foul.
Naomi was going on the pitch. A nice little hit and run going on. For Molly Jacobson in the circle, what she's going to have to rely heavily on, she throws that curveball both sides of the plate. She's that lefty. She's got to keep it down in the zone, though. She gets herself in trouble when she leaves that pitch about thigh high, waist high. But, man, when she can keep that ball down and she can get that drop and change working as well, that's when she is at her best.
She had won 6 in a row heading into that trip to Norman against the Sooners. But ever since then, her numbers in conference play have been a little bit different than her numbers to begin the year in non-conference. More than half of her earned runs have come in her 10 2/3 of Big 12 play. Oklahoma State, one of only 6 teams in the nation top 20 in batting average and ERA for Kenny Gajewski's squad in his 6th year in charge of the program.
Factors out there, just as a reminder, there were 2 strikes when she decided to bunt, still trying to bunt with those 2 strikes, and as it was foul, that is an out.
First of the game, here is Allison Febri. Febri, couple of hits this weekend, 2 for 5 in the series with a home run, 2 RBIs, and 2 walks as well. Wind gusting out towards center field today. Seen a few homers in this series from each team. All of Texas's runs have come courtesy of home runs. A solo shot by Ellsworth and a solo blast by Iakopo. And there's strike one from Jacobson. Three and one count coming up.
Not sure where that one missed. I think you saw a little bit of confusion out of both Jacobson and Iakopo. You see her give the thumbs up, so he's going to say that was up in the zone. Looked like a nice off-speed curve that crossed right over the plate, though.
This one lifted to right. Ellsworth on the track. Took a few steps, able to make the grab.
Worth note that the wind is blowing out. I think that had a little bit to do with why she was parked under it for a second and had to take a few more steps back. This ball sky high into right field. Right there, I think that's when you notice. There's that wind.
Two-way now for the cleanup hitter, Haley Busby, 1 for 7 in the series with a run-scoring double in game one. Entered the weekend top 25 in the nation in home runs. One of the many talented transfers on this Oklahoma State team. Played for the Virginia Cavaliers and had one of the best offensive seasons in recent program history in 2019. Stays alive.
For Jacobson, already you're noticing her go with that off speed and that changeup quite a bit in this first inning, and I like it. I like that they're already showcasing that early. It's going to be in the back of these batters' mind, and she's throwing it at any count.
That one misses. Jacobson second on the Longhorns this year in strikeouts with 61. Working inside there on Busby. Texas 35-8 overall, 26-3 at home. 9-5 in Big 12 play, and again, the Cowgirls have clinched second at least in the Big 12 tourney, so it'll be Texas and Baylor with a huge series next weekend, vying for that 3 spot.
Yeah, I think that's going to make even more so why I think it's a huge game today for Texas. They need to get that W just to take a little pressure off themselves going in to face Baylor.
Runners going. Busby delivers the hit and run. This one will roll all the way back to the wall, and Oklahoma State is going to grab a 1-0 lead.
I was going to say they're really showing a lot of respect to Iakopo behind the dish, not stealing Naomi, but man, does that work out in their favor. This pitch away, and Busby drills it right side. Jefferson did break for the steal and just didn't give herself a chance at all to get to that.
Her second RBI double of the series. And for the 3rd straight game, Oklahoma State grabs the first lead of the game. Here's Sydney Pennington, the senior from Oklahoma, who's had a nice weekend as well. 2 for 6, a home run, a double, and 2 driven in. One of the top home run hitters in program history. With her shot yesterday, is now tied for the 2nd most home runs in program history with 32 in her career. Count goes 1-2. Oklahoma State 32-2 this year when scoring first. Rhodes on to first. So Oklahoma State will strand a runner, but they do bring one home. Haley Busby with an RBI double. Horns offense coming up next. Mike White entered today with a record of 105-28 as head coach of the Longhorns. His offense top 10 in the nation. They've been held to 2 runs so far in this series, Megan, courtesy of a couple of solo home runs, including one by Taylor Ellsworth, who's back in the starting lineup again today.
Yeah, Taylor Ellsworth getting that nod yesterday. What a day for her, providing the only 2 hits against Kelly Maxwell. Definitely going to earn herself a spot today.
Janae Jefferson leading things off against the ace of the staff. They have 2 tremendous starters. But here is Carrie Eberly, who started game 1 and picked up the victory.
I think for Texas, really, you got to call out Janae Jefferson, Shannon Rhodes. Between the 2 of them, just 1 for 12 on the weekend. Janae with the 1 hit, Shannon Rhodes hitless. And I think usually when we see Texas at their best, it's Janae Jefferson that gets things going for them. And so you have to tip your cap to Oklahoma State and their pitching staff, and they have really done a great job keeping both Jefferson and Rhodes quiet this weekend.
Yep, Carrie Eberly tossed a complete game 1-run victory in game 1. Didn't walk a batter, struck out 4. And she is now 17-1 on the season.
I was so impressed with watching Eberly. It's that drop ball, what we just saw happen there. She throws it at the knees, but it's more about you watch that late break, the way she's able to get it to go down. Look at that ERA, a sub-1. She's sitting right at .85. Just such a great season she's put together. But again, I was so impressed with the way she was able to make that ball move on Friday night.
7th best ERA in the nation. Jefferson working to count 3-1. Janae just 7 hits away from becoming the all-time leading hitter in Texas history. 1 for 6 so far in the series. And the count goes full.
What a battle here between 2 players that are top 25 for player of the year right now. You've got a batter like Jefferson. Again, that's why, you know, you call her out there. This is a batter who comes in today hitting .442. Much higher to start that weekend.
And 5'10" when leading off. Just the numbers in every category impressive. Year after year for Janae Jefferson, who has led the team in batting average in every season of her career.
It's just absolutely incredible what she's been able to put together. But no doubt this Texas squad needs her to continue hitting the way she knows how to, even against these top 10 teams.
Back up the middle. And Naomi unable to handle it. Leadoff hitter aboard for Texas.
Well, that'll do it. And for Janae Jefferson, that was more of an at-bat that we're used to seeing. She goes deep into counts. She fouls pitches off. I mean, that's a ball down and away, and she's still able to get just enough on it, and the English on that as well, because it does go off the knob of the bat.
Jefferson does lead the team with 10 stolen bases. We'll see what she does. Here is Shannon Rhodes looking to get going at the plate. 0 for 6 in the series with 4 strikeouts. That officially scored an error, first error of the series by Oklahoma State.
I think for Shannon Rhodes, again, you've just seen Oklahoma State stay away, away, away. She has started swinging a little bit out of the zone. That's just the pressure she's putting on herself. Wow. And I have noticed, I feel like for her specifically, it's one of those things, when it rains, it pours, Alex. And sometimes when you're trying to battle through a little bit of a slump, you feel like the world's against you. And even those close pitches, I've seen a couple that look like they're off the plate get called strikes on her right now.
O2 gets away from right, and Texas will have a runner in scoring position. That apparently hit Rhodes. I think they will discuss that. And we'll get another look at that one as Rhodes headed on over to first base.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that it hit her, but she went right away. Maybe she's thinking it went off the front of her foot.
It was a good try. It was a good effort. She'll head back to the plate.
I mean, on that one, it looks like it could have got her toe right there.
Looked like right in front. But regardless, well, Mike White will voice his opinion. Either way, Rhodes will be coming up to bat again for the Longhorns. And Megan, this has been the theme of the weekend, a runner in scoring position for Texas. Can they take advantage? Still looking for their first hit of the series. With a runner in scoring position is Jefferson now on at second. And they count 1-2 to Rhodes.
Yeah, if you're Eberle right now, I think you go with that curveball away. You don't need to bring it anywhere near the zone. She has that rise as well. She got Rhodes on a rise back on Friday night. And instead she goes with the changeup. That thing's dirty. She does a nice job taking just about 6-7 miles per hour off of it. Take a look at where she locates it as well. She gets it to start at the knees, gets it to drop down right on top of the toes, and it's a knee buckler for Shannon Rhodes.
Yep, she's now 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts in the series. Here is Lauren Burke with 1 away.
I think for Texas, this is someone who you want up. Yes, she only had the 1 hit Friday, though technically she would have had a double as well, but that's when they said she didn't touch the bag. So a runner on second, someone who felt like they had Eberle's number, that's who you want up.
Burke has reached an 8 straight. Reigning Big 12 Player of the Week and a .317 hitter with runners in scoring position this year. Mike White talked to us after the Oklahoma series and said that was the same problem then. They had the bases loaded even a number of times in that series, but could not get a hit with runners, at least on second and third. Burke getting hot over her last 5 games with 8 runs driven in. All in that Kansas series.
Good hold by Burke there. That one coming in pretty hot there, 69 miles an hour.
Hitters count for Burke. Two on. Well, Eberle didn't walk a single batter in the complete game win on Friday night, but there was a free pass. And Texas in business. 2 on, 1 away for the cleanup hitter, Mary Iacopo, who has been hot at the plate. 2 home runs in her last 3 games. 4 shy of matching Taylor Hoagland for the single season record.
Yeah, and one of those against Eberle back on Friday.
Eberle having a bit of trouble, at least compared to Friday night, finding the strike zone.
Yep, and I think you go back to even that wild pitch that we saw with Rhodes up. That was uncharacteristic, specifically from what we saw out of her on Friday. So you're just kind of seeing, I think, her get a feel for that drop ball. It seems that that's the one she's not having as much control over today.
Eberle 27-2 during her time with Oklahoma State. Before that was the ACC Pitcher of the Year with Virginia Tech in 2019, going 25-8. What a performer in the circle. Ready to go with the 1-0 to Iacopo. Oh, we saw Mike White talking to his team numerous times in between innings yesterday. Trying to rally them, trying to get them going. These games have had a postseason feel to it. Big 12 tournament right around the corner. It'll take place in a couple of weekends. And after that, the regionals. Just misses. That drew some oohs and ahs for the fans here. You mentioned it to me before the game. There's a decent amount of Oklahoma State fans here at McCombs Field this weekend.
They traveled well, absolutely. Is that just about 5-6 hour drive?
Mm-hmm.
The no rain certainly helped.
Oh my gosh. Beautiful outside right now. 80 and sunny. Can Texas heat up at the plate? Iacopo sends one into foul territory.
Really not seeing Eberle utilize that rise ball a whole lot. That's the ball, though, that Iacopo did go yard on. So probably why we're not seeing it against her up and in. But that is a great pitch for her. She can throw it at 2 different levels. She can throw it, kind of get it called for a strike still with that 6-12 spin. And, of course, when she gets ahead of batters, she'll get that to rise up about the eyes.
Texas definitely working deeper into count so far today. Here comes pitch number 20 of the inning with only 1 out. Iacopo to center field. Factor is there. Jefferson tags, and the throw won't get there in time. Texas with runners on the corners and 2 away.
It's a great AB by Iacopo, and the fact that she was able to go deep. She got one, drive it to Factor. Really like that Janae Jefferson picked that up right away, was able to tag up as well. That is some of the things that Texas hasn't been doing over the weekend. You've seen a few balls kind of dribble in front of the catcher and not take an extra bag. So again, nice to see that happening.
Jefferson on third. And Burke over at first for Mackenzie Parker, 1 for 5 in the series with a walk. And second on the team in free passes with 19 of them on the season. Really taking her time in the circle.
That hurts. Foul ball right into Reagan White's leg. I think it got the inside part, closer to the ankle.
See, you're wincing a little bit. I'm sure you know what that feels like.
Yep, and it doesn't feel good. Say it all the time. You have all that gear on, and somehow that ball always hits you where the gear's not.
You can't be completely covered from head to toe. Right, regroups. And we're ready to go. With the 0-1 on the way to Mackenzie Parker. Got her.
That's that low rise. Just the way that Mackenzie Parker held up. She thought she was going to see that ball continue to go up, and it just hovers right there at the knees.
Close one. Ball 1.
You're seeing Eberle really want that pitch. I think you saw it again to Iacopo. It's a little up, a little out, very close, and you love the way that Reagan Wright works it behind the dish. Again, just the first inning, so both pitchers getting used to the home plate umpire.
Gets her there, inning-ending strikeout. And again, Texas leaves a runner on in scoring position. Coming up, talk to the fellas across the street. Zeke and Zonk will join us with a preview of Texas baseball. Stay with us. All right, look who's joining us here. Zeke and Zonk from across the way, across the street. Greg Swindell, Keith Moreland. Fellas, you getting ready to resume baseball at 1 o'clock today. What's the situation there between the Longhorns and the Red Raiders?
Well, I think the first thing you got to look at, Alex, is the fact is the momentum was on the Longhorn side when the heavens opened up. So a lot of times that really helps the team that was trying to preserve the lead at this point. I don't know what you feel, Zeke, but I think it was a real advantage for Texas Tech that the moisture came down.
Yeah, I really do. At the time when they put the tarp on the mound, Texas bases loaded, obviously 2 outs, and had 2 runs come across to make it to a 5-3 ball game. So It's been a long night for Silas Ardoin, who was going to be the hitter at the time. So we'll see what happens. It should be an exciting inning in the third when we get back.
No doubt.
Who slid across the tarp yesterday when they rolled it out? Was it Keith or Greg? Did anybody offer to go down there and just let loose?
The one thing about it, this is synthetic turf, and you start sliding on it, it doesn't need a tarp. You see guys that go 20 feet when they start to slide.
All right, thanks, fellows. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Texas baseball coming up just a bit. They have a game and a half today. 1 o'clock, they'll resume in the 8th inning from yesterday. Tech up 5-3. And then they got the finale at 2:30 right here on LHN. Meanwhile, leading off the second, Reagan Wright grounds out. Megan, I was looking at that shot there of the four of us, and I'm thinking, I don't believe I belong in the picture with you all. There's a lot of athletic talent there.
One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, a
Is that
lot
what
of
you're saying?
awards, a lot of gifted ball players there, except for one.
It's okay. We still want you around, Alex.
Appreciate it.
You keep us in the zone. You know what I mean?
Right. Michaela Richburg in the 7th spot. Oklahoma State so far with a couple of hits, a single, and a run-scoring double off Molly Jacobson, making her 13th start of the season.
Thinking about that baseball game and the fact that they only got to the 8th inning makes me think how lucky we were. I feel like the moment, I mean, it started drizzling a little bit in the 6th and 7th here, but the moment game over, I mean, it just started pouring.
Yes. They got stuck. This one drilled to deep center. Rhodes on the track. Well, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters have done so much damage as this one hit hard by Richburg in the 7th spot. 7, 8, 9 hitters, Megan, 7 hits combined in the series.
Yeah, you love to see that. I think, again, you go back to Alexander in that 9 spot, batting a .421, but if your upper part of the lineup isn't getting it done, you've got to find a way. And I think for Coach Gajewski and this Oklahoma State Cowgirls team, you see why they're just continuing to get better and better. You're seeing them put together, I feel like each game, a stronger approach at the plate. You're seeing the pitchers get stronger as well, and their defense. And so, again, not really so surprised that the bottom half is picking it up.
Including Carly Petty, who's at the plate. She's 2 for 5 with the double. So has played terrific defense this weekend as well. Again, Oklahoma State top 30 in the nation in offense, defense, and pitching. For the Cowgirls, after this series comes to an end, they will wrap up the regular season with a 3-game set against Oklahoma. That is going to be a heck of a matchup. One of the top hitting teams we've seen in recent history. And the Sooners facing the number 5 ERA in the nation in Oklahoma State, their pitching staff.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at that series, not only just because you've got the number 1 and the number 2 team facing off in Big 12, number 1 in the nation, OU, but this is always a rivalry that is so good. And I think you just get to watch the way that they play. It goes deep.
Washington underneath it. There we go. 1-2-3 inning work by Jacobson and company. Texas offense looking to get going with Ellsworth, Sullivan, and Smith coming up.
Longhorn Network Softball is brought to you by American Campus Communities, where students love living.
Megan, this is somewhat surreal considering the previous 2 days we had torrential downpours. Beautiful blue skies, 80 degrees, short sleeves out at the ballpark. And the Horns fans there, all gas, no brakes. Looking for the offense to step on the gas pedal.
Little football action going over here in softball stadium.
How many autographs do you get asked for when you leave the stadium each day?
Alex, I don't know that anyone knows who I am.
Your picture's up on the concourse there.
Sunglasses and mask on.
They certainly know who Taylor Ellsworth is after she left the yard yesterday. Her first hit in a couple of weeks. And came up with 2 of them, as you mentioned earlier, Megan, the only 2 hits for the Longhorns yesterday.
You know, I thought this was more of a theme for Texas earlier in the season, just because you've had a lot of rotation in the lineup. Coach White known to play the best hitters at the time, or the hot hitters at the time. So you love to see that he decided to go with Taylor Ellsworth yesterday and coming off the bench and doing such a great job.
Oof.
There's that off speed.
Nasty.
But again, when your time has come, and I felt like, again, that was something Texas was really good at earlier in the season. So these hitters are a little bit more prepared and ready to go.
Third strikeout of the game already for Eberle. 2 in a row.
That one going with the drop ball, not having to bring it up at all. Still not seeing it bite like it did on Friday, getting it to start at the knees a little bit. But, I mean, when you get ahead of the batters, I don't think it really matters where you locate it if you're still getting the swing and miss.
Yep, she has fanned 3 of the first 6 batters she has faced. Texas still looking for their first hit of the contest. Here's Colleen Sullivan, 1 for 4 in the series with a couple of walks. .367 hitter this year after batting .273 a year ago and .239 during a freshman campaign with UCLA before transferring over to the 40 acres. Works the count 2-0.
And it was Sullivan back on Friday that got the first hit for Texas. She was also in the 7th spot in that game too, so we'll start taking note and see how Texas is going to start making adjustments, seeing how Eberle is throwing, maybe just a little bit different than Friday. And so far, Colleen doing a great job laying off that pitch.
Texas had a chance in the first inning. Leadoff hitter Janae Jefferson reached on an error. Lauren Burke walked. Iacopo drilled a sac fly, and Jefferson was on third, but they could not bring her home. And Wright is just getting drilled behind the dish today.
Assuming that one again goes right off the top of your toe. And that was on a 3-0 count too, so as a catcher, not always anticipating anyone's going to be swinging either. Not that you can protect yourself in a situation like this. Oh, that's right off the kneecap. She keeps that left knee down on the ground too, and that is a shot.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how badly does that hurt?
I mean, it's brutal, right? Like, and that even hit that. What's crazy about that is that hits the gear in that case, right? But see where there's a little bit of a crease at the bottom part of that first little protection, and you can kind of see it right there. And when she's down and the knee's bent, it kind of leaves an opening gap that you just got to continue to walk it off, because, man, that hurts.
She shakes it off. 2-time All-Sun Belt Conference Catcher of the Year with UT Arlington. She's thrown out 21 base runners over the last 2.5 seasons. And she's healed up, and we're ready to resume with the 3-1 count to Sullivan. Another walk from Eberle. Well, can Texas take advantage? Because she doesn't do this often.
No, and you are watching her struggle a little bit for when she needs to throw the strike with that drop ball, just not able to get it in there for that called strike. Earlier in this game, it was more of a curveball that I thought she would be going with when she needs a strike.
Here comes the freshman J.J. Smith, a .419 hitter. 1 for 2 in the series, started Friday and came off the bench yesterday. And again, Eberle misses. Texas 3 for 20 with runners on in this series. And Wright has seen enough for a second. She wants to talk things over with Eberle.
Yeah, I think I love this right here, right? As a catcher, you have the best view on the field. You have the best view of your pitcher. You've probably been in a million bullpens with her, so you can go out and remind her maybe a little adjustment that you see.
I mean, that's a bizarre ratio for one of the elite pitchers in the nation. 18 balls and 18 strikes right now. See if the pep talk worked. Smith takes it to left field. Alexander, that'll drop in front of her. Sullivan hustling over to third base, and Texas with 2 in scoring position, and the freshman does it again. Another double, her 7th of the season.
I love this AB right here. This is a hitter's count. It's 2-0. After that timeout, this pitch is way too good for Eberle standards. They want to go inside. They're trying to go hard and in with the curve, and it just stays belt high middle, and JJ Smith gets all of it.
I don't know how you can't love watching her play. Between not only her production, but her energy as well. She has put Texas in a golden position to at least tie this game, if not more. Corona takes over as a pinch runner at third, Smith on second, and here is Alyssa Washington, another true freshman for the Horns.
To imagine in this case, Coach White, just in case you get a fly ball to the outfield, giving yourself that one extra step to get. He knows how important that one run is.
Washington made her 3rd start of the season at third yesterday and went 0 for 2. Takes strike 1. A .250 hitter. 5 RBIs on the season. Nearly half of her hits this year have been for extra bases. 3 home runs and 2 doubles.
You know, right away, just thinking about what to anticipate if you're a righty right now. I just feel like it's the curveball out of Eberle that she has the most control with. So as righties and lefties, be prepared for that pitch. If you're a lefty, inside part of the plate, righties away.
0-2 to the freshman. Off the glove of Pennington, Texas will tie the game at 1.
Well, how about Alyssa Washington coming up huge in the 9-hole? The fact that, again, this pitch is supposed to be outside, she anticipates it, and then she yanks it right down the line. This is a hot shot. As you saw, that's a great angle there. That was up and away. In timing, she's able to just get it right past a great fielding Pennington.
We mentioned the bottom of the order coming up big this weekend for Oklahoma State. How about for Texas today? The 7, 8, 9 hitters all reaching in this inning. And Washington tying it up. Here's Janae Jefferson back at the top. Jefferson reached on an error in the 6th inning. And again, 6 hits away from tying Brigée Washington for the most all-time at Texas.
Yeah, interesting, though, that she's showing bunt there just with the runner on third. This is someone who has pop in the bat. You're just looking to get a ball deep in the outfield. I know she's looking to get herself on.
Sends one to the outfield. Smith will tag the freshman heading home, and she will score. Texas goes on top, 2-1.
I like this decision right here. It's early in the game, Alex. It's just the 2nd inning. How many other opportunities are you going to get like this? Jefferson gets it just deep enough, and in that situation, I don't know a lot of people that are going to tag, but I like it. JJ Smith in. And actually, you're going to see right away, home plate umpire would have called that obstruction anyways. As you saw, Wright was in the base path before having the ball. Great read by JJ Smith.
Texas has their first lead of the series. Now it's Washington on second with Shannon Rhodes at the plate. Still sitting on 15 home runs on the year.
that, unfortunately, is just the way things are going for Shannon Rhodes right there. She's so mental in her head right now. That's the pitch she should smash, and she knows it. And now she's kind of guessing, double guessing, and not making a full swing on something like that. And really the only thing you can do as a hitter, because she's an incredible hitter, right? You just got to keep working the process, and you've got to trust yourself.
She's sitting on 99 RBIs as a Longhorn. By the way, Texas finally has come up with their first hit of the series with a runner in scoring position, thanks to Washington moments ago. Eberle now up to 45 pitches on the day through just 2 innings.
Yeah, even the next 2 pitches, Alex, I don't think she has any reason to bring it in the zone. See if you can get Shannon Rhodes to chase at something well out.
You called it. Texas has already matched their hit total from yesterday's game with 2 in this inning. Rhodes trying to add to that. 2-2. The runner on second and 2 away. Pennington is there. But Texas puts 2 on the board. A walk to Sullivan, a double from Smith. RBI single from Washington and a run-scoring sac fly from Jefferson. And the Horns lead 2-1 in the finale as we move on to the 3rd. The final regular season home game will take place on Friday between Texas and Baylor. Then they'll play the final 2 games of that series up in Waco. After that, it's the Big 12 tournament. Megan, that is going to be a huge series for both of those teams, because right now in the standings, Texas at 3rd in the Big 12, getting ready for the Big 12 tournament at 9-5. Baylor not too far behind at 7-6 entering today.
Yeah, I think, again, more so why Texas really needs to get a win today, again, so they can go with a little less pressure, I'd have to imagine, going up against Baylor. Always a good matchup. You have to imagine Gia Rodoni probably getting the start for Baylor. But I love, it's kind of interesting that they always, I feel like Texas and Baylor always end Big 12 playing one another, because it's always Baylor that Texas's senior day is against too. And so it's interesting. I feel like you get a lot more emotion and a lot more, I don't know, you always have the seniors step up big time, at least it seems like, for the past 3 years, not counting last year. It's been that way.
Well, and the crazy thing is, as they prepare for the Big 12 tournament, the conference tournament, as Alexander off the glove of a leaping Parker will reach to lead off the 3rd. We haven't actually seen the Big 12 tournament completed in 3 years. Last year there was no tourney because of the pandemic. The year before they started it but couldn't finish it due to rain.
That's
so
right.
2018 was the last time we had a complete Big 12 tournament. So Alexander, one of the top hitters in the Big 12 over at first. And back up to the top of the order with Kylie Naomi. Molly Jacobson had retired 4 in a row before that single by Alexander.
You know, the other thing too, when you think about the Texas, the OSU, the Oklahoma, where they're all ranked right now, where they're going to be seated if it stays the same 1, 2, and 3. That means game 1 will be the number 2 seed versus number 3 seed. So these teams just facing one another, probably going to have to face each other first thing when they get to the Big 12 tournament Friday. So they'll at least have a lot of looks. The only difference, you know, is that some of the numbers will probably change.
Went inside and the runner Alexander advances. That is strike 2. However, a runner in scoring position, the tying run.
surprised. I thought maybe that was a foul ball, but it did go
Yeah.
right into Iakopo's glove.
1-2 to Naomi, base knock. Alexander will hold up at third. Jefferson bobbles that one. Alexander heading home, and she is safe. Oh, close play at the plate.
Wow, and you're going to see Mike White probably lose it right here because Mary Iakopo's right on the plate there. She had every position to get there, and it did look like that glove was down, and she slid right into the glove.
Well, they are looking at the replay on the scoreboard. We'll show you right now.
It's the short hop from Burke, and Jefferson gets it in there, and I don't know how he's going to say the hands got in there underneath Iakopo.
Well,
probably the right call.
I think she was safe.
You know, I do think she does get in there.
Yeah. Was a close play, but she did appear to be safe.
And that's a huge pickup from Chelsea Alexander. The moment she saw that ball go into the dirt to Jefferson at second, I love the aggressiveness. She knows her speed. You've got to continue to push that gas pedal in a game like this.
By the way, that is scored a single by Naomi and an error on Lauren Burke. We talked about this series having a postseason atmosphere to it. Certainly has been the case so far in the first few innings today. Factor lays down the bunt. Sullivan on to first. First out of the inning.
First baseman, number 1, Allison Fever.
In 3 years here in Austin, I don't think I've ever seen Mike White that heated.
Well, and I think that goes to show you what this series means, right? And everything that it boils down to, and you love to see it. You want your coaches to have your back out there. I think teams can feed off of that emotion. I mean, the other thing, this entire series, there's been a lot of bang-bang plays. There's been a lot of calls that could have gone either way. Finally, on Sunday, I think people just have enough of it, too.
Apparently. Here is Allison Febri with the speedy Naomi over at third base. By the way, for Texas, that error makes it 11 straight games with an error for the Longhorns. So Texas has given up 2 runs today, only 1 earned. Yesterday, they had a few unearned runs as well. 0-2, big strikeout for Jacobson.
That is huge right there with Jacobson, knowing that you have a runner on third, knowing you have a hitter like Febri who can get a ball out of the park in a second or just a deep fly ball. Love the off speed, the location's perfect.
Second strikeout of the contest for Jacobson. This one low and inside to Haley Busby, the cleanup hitter. Drove in the first run of the game with an RBI double in the first inning. Crushes one foul. Daughter of former Major League pitcher Mike Busby, played for the Cardinals back in the late 90s. Threw his final Major League pitch on July 8th, 1999. And just 41 days later, Haley was born. Said she was raised in the batting cages of Arizona.
I believe it. I mean, you look at her whole demeanor, you've seen it all weekend. I love her presence at the plate.
Just gets a piece of that one.
and this is one of those cases. I think not a bad thing to go deep, go full count here. Try to get that rise ball maybe up at the eyes. Do not want to miss belt high for sure. There it is. Doesn't chase.
Busby hitting nearly 140 points higher than she did a season ago. 7th pitch of this battle on the way.
Molly Jacobson, I like how she's going right after these batters, though. She is establishing the inside part of the plate. I feel like she's not pitching tentatively. She's going with her best stuff, and
loses her.
whoa. That is lucky for Oklahoma State. Mary Iacopo thought for sure that was strike 3. The fact that Naomi didn't take home on that, that would have been a very easy way to get ahead of the batters there.
That's an excellent point as Iacopo laughs as she watches the replay on the big board because she thought it was a strike.
Yeah, that is a lucky break for Texas right there. And that's tough as a catcher. I mean, you hear the noises. Maybe she thought she heard him. Call strike 3. She obviously thought it was strike 3. I like this timeout. That's why this is not a pitcher-catcher timeout. This is a defensive timeout. Even the outfielders are in here. Probably more of the, okay, let's get our emotions in check right now. Let's make sure that we're in control of everything that we do right now, that we are not allowing the umpires to rattle us, because that's easy to do, right? You want to kind of start blaming everything else and just, again, bring everything back to yourselves, your teammates, and just calm it down a bit.
I would say it is a very tense vibe here at McCombs Field right now. A lot of close calls on both sides. Mike White continues to discuss the situation with his team. There will be runners on the corners for Oklahoma State with 2 away.
I don't know about you, Alex, but this is the exact type of vibe I want every single game to be.
Absolutely.
Intense. You know what I mean? Like, that's what this game's all about, when you have 2 teams that are going back and forth, being in the top 10. And right now, Texas is the one that has everything to prove right now. Oklahoma State taking the first 2 games.
And here is the senior. They call her the best clutch hitter on the team, Sydney Pennington, the All-American third baseman. It's already delivered a double, a home run, and 2 runs driven in this series. A single, and an error, and a walk in this inning so far for Oklahoma State's offense. 1-2. Well, for the better part of the season, Molly Jacobson was the best pressure pitcher on the staff. Numerous times earlier in the year, she would get out of bases-loaded jams in non-conference play, and jams with multiple runners on. This one, however, is blasted to deep left field. It'll be a 3-run bomb from Sid Pennington.
Sydney Pennington gets all of that pitch. I feel like for a little bit, Jacobson had her number. She was throwing the off speed, wasn't really able to pick it up. That one, a no-doubter, her 2nd home run of the weekend.
Woof.
Woof is right. That's a rise ball. Not a bad pitch. It is inside, just not high enough. Right in the swing path of Sydney Pennington.
33rd home run of her career, 2 away from matching the all-time record at Oklahoma State, and just like that, it's a 3-run game. Shea O'Leary is warming up in the Texas bullpen. Reagan Wright takes strike 1.
We knew this, right? Coming into the weekend, this was going to be a dogfight. It was going to go punch for punch. today, I think it was all about how Texas was going to rebound, and this is going to have to show everything, the resiliency of Jacobson here in the circle, because they're going to need her going deep in the season. But again, the offense, how they're going to respond after this big 4-run inning.
Oklahoma State has now hit 65 home runs on the season. That's only 5 behind Texas. Cowgirls averaging nearly 6.5 runs per game. Right over to Sullivan. But a huge inning for the Cowgirls. They put 4 on the board, 3 hits, including a 3-run jack from Pennington. 5-2 State. Well, baseball has gotten underway across the street. They resumed play after it was postponed yesterday due to rain. Bases loaded for Texas now in the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing 5-3, and a big strikeout there to end the frame. We'll keep you updated, and also we'll have Texas baseball live for you here on LHN at 2:30 with the finale of that series coming up. With our buddies Greg Swindell and Keith Moreland.
I think you go back again, bases loaded. They had all the momentum yesterday. Very unfortunate because our game, baseball and softball, a game of momentum for sure.
Well, it seemed like Texas had some momentum about 15 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. And they're going to have to build it back up after giving up the 3-run homer. Here is Lauren Burke, walked in the first inning. LB has now reached in 9 straight games. Texas with 2 runs off 2 hits, 1 error for Oklahoma State, 5-5-1.
For Lauren Burke, she would love nothing more to get a rally started right now. Again, it was her error, the throwing error to second, that allowed Oklahoma State to score that first run.
Two coming up from Eberly. Petty backing up. Eberly got a nice break in between innings there. After laboring a bit in the first inning, had a few base runners on. In the second, allowed 3 straight to get on for Texas. Gave up those 2 runs, but then got a nice chance to recoup. She's got 1 down now, facing Mary Iacopo. Iacopo 0 for 1. Her and Rhodes going back and forth. Alternating home runs. Iacopo currently 1 behind Rhodes with 14. Both still on pace to break that record held by Hoagland. By the way, we had a chance to talk to Taylor Hoagland and aired that segment on Longhorn Extra this week. She was so excited for both of these players. She said, listen, records are meant to be broken. I hope they do.
Yeah, Hoagland, what a presence at the plate she had at her time here at Texas. I mean, you think of some of the big hitters, and she's definitely one that stands out. I mean, just monstrous home runs. And she was the leadoff batter for Texas, too. She had a lot of speed as well as power.
And as we found out, actually coached Shannon Rhodes back when Rhodes was about 12 years old in youth softball. As for Iacopo, continuing her career season at the plate as far as batting average and home runs are concerned. Back up the middle. Nice reach by Naomi. Oh, what a play. One of the best infields in the nation gets it done.
I love that react right there. That is an excellent play. She's going up the middle. She's able to glove it, the turnaround, and I mean almost a no-look throw. Great snag over there by Febri as well.
Well, Texas is arguing this call.
Trying to say that Febri wasn't on the bag.
It's been that kind of a day.
Which Megan Bartlett over there, not happy. Looks like she got ejected as well.
Little curtsy at the end. Oh, what a finale we got going. We'll take one more look at that. And she was arguing, as you said, that maybe Febri was off the bag. That left foot, nope.
I mean, it does come off. I do think it looks like maybe comes back on as she's crossing the bag.
Yeah. Saw it came off for a tenth of a second.
You know, Alex, I think this, but it goes back to them calling Lauren Burke not touching first.
Yeah.
And any angle we got, there was nothing conclusive about it. So I think there's a lot of things that are building up. And again, game 3, a frustrated outing by Texas. Of course, you're going to have a lot of extra, I think, just excitement and energy and emotion.
Frustration.
Yeah.
3 consecutive groundouts induced now by Eberle. Here is Mackenzie Parker. Parker's still one of 3 Texas batters on the season to keep that average over 400, hitting .402 right now. And Eberle has consistently fallen behind the Texas batters today.
Yeah, I don't really think it's much to worry about, though. It's just 2 hits on the board. I think it could be part of the game plan. I think it has everything to do with how they're throwing to Texas.
There she's already delivered pitch number 60 on the afternoon. Fourth 3-ball count of the contest, only through 4 in all of Friday's game. In 3 years at Virginia Tech, Eberle threw more than 540 innings, had an ERA below 2 in her final 2 seasons there. Former ACC Pitcher of the Year in the season before that in 2018, the only ACC player to lead her team in ERA and home runs at the plate. But another walk there for Eberle, her 3rd of the contest.
I think for Texas, this is all about how they react to these walks, right? I know that we're talking about it. She's putting a little bit of extra batters on. But Texas really not taking advantage of that a whole lot yet.
See if Taylor Ellsworth can. Action, meanwhile, in the Oklahoma State pen, just in case. Ellsworth having a bounce-back campaign. Last year hit just .209, but looks like her old healthy self this season, hitting .377 with 6 homers and 8 doubles. Texas 2 for 6 today with runners on. One and 2. Parker over at first after the third walk of the game issued by Eberle. Before that, Burke and Iacopo grounded out.
Taylor struck out on the drop ball last time, so you're kind of seeing her have trouble picking that up. Eberle, the nice late break with that, but not needing really to even start it above the knees. Interesting to see if Taylor adjusts where she stands in the box. Right now, completely in the back of the box, hopefully to see that ball a little bit deeper to lay off of it. And it works that time.
Big gap in left center field between Factor and Alexander for Ellsworth.
They're just hammering that drop ball to Ellsworth right now, both sides of the plate.
Kenny Gajewski calls it the best drop ball in the country. Tough to argue.
I know, I was like, so far, I'd agree.
Good patience from Ellsworth. On deck is Colleen Sullivan, hoping to get a chance. All the offense came in the second inning for Texas. Double from J.J. Smith, RBI single from Melissa Washington, RBI sac fly from Janae Jefferson. Eberle, one of the nation's best, already up to 70 pitches on the day.
Hard to believe we're still in the third. So great job by Taylor Ellsworth there, knowing that she was having a hard time picking up that drop ball, finally being able to foul a couple off, lay off, earns herself a walk.
Fourth walk of the day from Eberle. 2 aboard for Colleen Sullivan. She earned a free pass in the second inning. Colleen Sullivan 1 for 4 entering this contest. And she now has 3 walks in the series. Texas 1 for 5 today with runners in scoring position. Another ball from Eberle.
And Eberle's going to call that timeout. That's a first pitch changeup there. So I like the call. I think that has everything to do with trying to guess that a batter's going to go up there swinging first pitch, knowing, okay, this pitcher does not want to throw another ball, more than likely going to get it. So I like the call by Coach Barkfeld, who's coming out here to have a chat too.
What have you seen differently from her compared to Friday when she didn't walk a single batter?
Alex, I honestly think it's more of a game plan. I don't think she's struggling. I think if she's struggling, it's just that she can't throw that drop for a strike when she wants to. I think you have to also say Texas is laying off a little bit more than they did on Friday as well. So
Absolutely.
Maybe tip your cap to Texas, making those adjustments as well. You know what I mean?
Again, Oklahoma State with the number 5 pitching staff in the nation as far as ERA is concerned at 1.41.
And I'm just kind of laughing here watching Coach Barkfeld walk on and off the field. Very low-tempered, very slow. He keeps that emotion down, and that was something Gajewski let us know about both his pitchers. He likes the way that they have picked up on his demeanor, and that doesn't allow them to get too fired up. And whatever he said worked, because she's able to get that one called in there for a strike.
Yep, 1-1 after 2 consecutive walks. Former head coach at Tulsa looks on. Parker on second, Ellsworth over at first. Oof.
And that's when Sullivan wants back. That one was a really good pitch. It was thigh high and on the plate. That's the one you got to be swinging at. with runners on especially.
The 1-2 with 2 on, 2 away. Sullivan started off the year by reaching in a career high 16 straight games. Has driven in 28 runs on the season. Looking at least for number 29. Texas hitters definitely their most patient game of the series so far. We'll do it again at 2-2.
Just like the way that the last couple hitters have also just been fouling them off, right? Anything close once they get to the 2 strikes, the changeup, they're not getting completely fooled, but at least able to waste it, giving themselves another chance. It is again.
Just getting a piece of that one. Colleen Sullivan with 21 walks. Most on the Longhorns. Eberle came into the game with 43 walks compared to 116 strikeouts, but today has walked more than she has struck out. That one right into the glove of Naomi. Texas now 1 for 6 today with runners in scoring position, and it remains a 3-run game. We get ready to enter the 4th inning here at McCombs Field. Over at the dish, they are in the bottom of the 9th. The Longhorns down to their last 2 outs, trailing Texas Tech 5-3.
Softball from across the street. We have 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Longhorns trail by 2 and a full count to the Longhorn shortstop, Faltini. Got him upstairs. 2 gone in the 9th.
Well, there you go. Listen to Keith Moreland.
Recognize out of the zone.
We'll have the series finale for you here on LHN at 2:30. Leading off here in the 4th inning, Michaela Richburg, Carly Petty, and Chelsea Alexander.
Our Texas squads here having a little trouble this weekend against these top-ranked teams. Texas baseball looking like they're probably going to drop game 2. Texas softball drop 2 to Oklahoma State.
At least the weather's nice. Molly Jacobson fields that one. 1 away. Jacobson, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, 5 runs allowed. Change a bit of the scoring, so all the runs are now earned, and 5 hits as well. Each team with an error.
I'm going to have to talk to someone about that.
About the scoring?
About how there's not at least 1 unearned on that error from Lauren Burke to second base.
You have more of a resume around here than I do, so you can get away with that.
Seems like this weekend, nothing's going the way I think it should. So there's that.
Get that going on. Just want to foul off the bat of Petty. Texas dropped the opener 3-1. Dropped yesterday's contest 5-1. They momentarily had their first lead of the series after 2-1, but then Oklahoma State today came right back with 4 in the 3rd inning. The majority of that coming off the home run by Sydney Pennington, a 3-run shot. It kind of took the air out of the stadium.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's exactly why last inning was so big. You get a way to earn a couple walks against a pitcher like Eberle, and you're still unable to get that run. That was a time you really need to punch back. But again, just the 4th inning. Plenty of time left.
6th hit of the ball game for Oklahoma State, and again, it comes from the bottom of the order.
Left fielder, number 55, Chelsea Alexander.
The 7, 8, 9 hitters now have 9 hits this weekend combined, including Chelsea Alexander, who is top 10 in the Big 12 in batting average. She's 1 for 1 and now hitting .434. Best season of her career at the plate.
What she's been able to provide to this lineup is just unbelievable, especially at the 9 spot. You know, a lot of times you're going to get a lot of better pitches to work with.
Sullivan on to first, throws it away.
This is a situation that you know Alexander has the ability to bunt. Sullivan gets there in time, unfortunately doesn't make a good throw. Gonna bring Jefferson into that runner. Luckily there was no collision on top of it. But we talked about this in the beginning part of this game, Alex. This is what Texas has to shore up if they want to go deep into the postseason.
11 straight games with an error. That'll officially be scored a single and an error.
Also interesting.
It's been a fascinating day here at the park. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. Here is exhale. Namaste. Yeah. Rhodes is there. Runner tags at 3rd. 6-2 Cowgirls.
For Naomi, this is a huge day. She was hitless coming into today. She's got 2 hits on the day. She gets the ball up in the zone with runners on. I mean, that's textbook softball right there. And that's huge. Again, it's your leadoff. I like the fact that Coach Gajewski even going 0 for 6, this is your leadoff. You're going to continue to let her work through it. And today she shows just that.
Absolutely. A big day for the junior. Here's another junior, Cheyenne Factor. Still looking for her first hit of the series. She's made a number of strong defensive plays in center field throughout the weekend. Jefferson is there. And the inning comes to an end, but the Cowgirls tack on another. Texas now down by 4. Megan, write these down on your calendar. Put them in your phone.
Got it.
Big 12 tournament, conference championships across the nation, May 12th through the 15th. The selection show on the 16th. Right now, they've narrowed down the list to 20 potential regional host sites on the 16th. We'll find out who the 16 are. And then the regionals get underway, mayhem on May 21st. There you go.
I know you and I are going to be looking and watching May 16th very tentatively.
Oh, yeah.
Hoping we get to get sent somewhere, maybe not get sent somewhere. Maybe we'll just be right here. Austin, Texas is one of the host sites and one of the top 20 right now, which is also something that I think Texas needs to keep in mind right now when they're playing, right? I mean, we keep talking about Big 12. We talk about postseason. We've watched Texas get as high as about 7th in the ranking, and now they're dropping, right? And if they get swept by Oklahoma State, right now Oklahoma State is ranked above them, but they're probably going to shift a little bit further down, and you do not want to drop below 15.
I was going to say, Texas entered the week ranked number 12. But if they end up getting swept, how far do you think they fall?
Again, because Oklahoma State is ranked above them, I can't imagine it's too far down by any means. But again, it's going to be what that end score looks like.
Well, do you think Oklahoma State, with this pitching, again, one of the best staffs in the nation, do you think they can challenge and maybe take a game or two from Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think they have a chance to take one for sure. I think this is definitely two squads that know a lot about one another. To go double check that. Do they split where they play, home and away?
Not sure about that. No, like Texas is doing that with Baylor. But I don't believe so. Nope. J.J. Smith working a 3-1 count. Texas hitters have been very, very patient today, earning 4 walks, forcing Eberle to throw a ton of pitches.
Yeah, well, for Oklahoma State, it looks like they do get to play at home. So I think that's going to be huge for them to be able to stay at home. All 3 of those games going to give them just a little bit more of that advantage.
Payoff pitch. Eberle up to 85 pitches. But Texas only 1 for 6 today with runners in scoring position. In the entire series, Texas 1 for 16 with runners on second or third. Another walk. Eberle didn't like the call.
See, Eberle still trying to paint that corner, the outside part of the plate. I like the react. She's been getting it. I think that it is a low and out pitch, but again, you're only following what's been called throughout the game, you know, and so that's why you're going to get those reacts. Those are something that you definitely want, and Reagan Wright, for the most part, gets any of those close pitches called a strike for sure.
Eberle has walked at least 1 batter in every inning so far. Here is Alyssa Washington. The freshman came up with a big hit in the 2nd inning, an RBI single, momentarily tying up the game. Chopped over to second. This infield, one of the best in the nation at turning double plays, but it won't happen here.
Second baseman, Janae Jefferson.
So they at least get 1. With Washington now over at first with 1 away.
Thought that was going to be a classic 4-6-3. Naomi just not able to get over to the bag, I think, quick enough for Petty to toss it over.
Janae Jefferson put Texas up 2-1 with a sac fly that brought in a run in the 2nd inning and reached on an error in the 1st. For Eberle in the circle, this ties a season high. 5 walks today. And remember, on Friday, she gave up a season high 8 hits to Texas. Again, they've had their chances.
They've definitely had their chances, and I have to think, because you go back to what Coach Gajewski was talking about earlier in the week too, and about how Coach Bartveld's got him to buy into what a good walk is, you know, and how sometimes maybe that's why she's a little bit more careful, because they did get the 8 hits, trying to see if you can get Texas to chase a little bit more. Texas showing a good job being patient. Now they just need that clutch hit to come in.
That's a good point. After allowing the season high 8 hits on Friday night, she's only given up 2 hits today.
Yep.
So like you said, limiting that, but allowing the season high 5 walks. Carly Ratcliffe taking over a moment ago as the pinch runner at first. Oh, 1 to Janae Jefferson. Jefferson, no home runs in the first 160 games of her career, but this year has exploded for 5. I guess 4.5, considering the one in Norman bounced off the top of the wall and came back in.
That was incredible.
Eberle. Oh, the throw a bit high. 2 on, only 1 away for Texas.
This, I think, has everything to do with Eberle just not getting a good grip on the ball. And one actually goes Texas's way. Ratcliffe thought she was going to go somewhere there, Alex. Luckily stayed on the bag.
Broken record. Can Texas take advantage? Another runner in scoring position. That's a fielder's choice with an error. So now for Oklahoma State, in all of their losses this year, their 6 losses, errors have been the problem. The normally good defense has committed half of their errors on the season in just 6 losses.
Yeah, and for Texas, this is why the timeout's being called. You got Shannon Rhodes coming up. This is a batter they need heavily right now to find a way to bust out of this mini slump that she's found herself in against Oklahoma State.
Yep, Rhodes 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts in the series.
But with a batter like her,
she's due.
yeah, you know, and I think that's absolutely still in the back of Everly's mind and this defense. Everyone knows, right? Everyone knows a good hitter. You're not a hitter that can come in to a game for a whole season batting .357. There's a chance it's going to happen.
In their losses this year, Oklahoma State has allowed 20 unearned runs. They've committed 2 errors today. Will it cost them? Rhodes drops one into shallow left field. Here comes Ratcliffe rounding third, and Texas brings home their 3rd run of the ball game.
And that's why you just keep going up there. You keep working the game plan. You love the conversation with both Steve Singleton and Coach White, probably talking about everything that they've done. And though she doesn't barrel this up completely, she's strong enough that she gets it in on the hands and able to bloop it into left field.
Texas, after going 0 for 10 the first 2 games with runners in scoring position, has come up now with 2 hits today in those situations. Here's Lauren Burke. 1st and 2nd again, still just 1 out. Burke has reached in 9 consecutive games, currently sitting on 100 career RBIs. Eberly approaching 100 pitches. Up in the mid-90s already. It's a hot day out there as well. And nothing like the first 2 days of the series.
82 degrees right now.
That one gets away from right. Runners advance. Wild pitch from Eberly.
At this rate, wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Eberly come back out next inning. Again, that pitch count getting high. But again, you also want to see what your pitcher has and the grit that she's going to show through this.
They changed that wild pitch to a pass ball, charged to right. Jefferson on at 3rd, Rhodes at 2nd. One ball away from loading the bases. Mary Iacopo is on deck. Naomi hustles over to first in time. They get the out, but another run comes in. It's a 2-run game. That one looked like it was a little bit out of the strike zone.
But does the trick.
Yep.
See, they're going to go away. Yep, down and away just off the end of the bat and slow enough that you're going to get that run across.
So here comes Mary Iacopo representing the tying run. Rhodes over at 3rd. Iacopo hitless so far today.
As you see, that drop ball still coming in pretty hard there at 68. So though the pitch count is high, seems that maybe efforting just a little bit more today, still able to bring it.
Went around 0-2. Eberle, a season high 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, 4 runs allowed. 3 of them earned for the 17-1. Grad student, the transfer from a few years ago from Virginia Tech, trying to get out of this inning with the lead. That was pitch number 100 on the day. Threw 101 pitches in the complete game victory on Friday. Got her to end the inning. Iacopo goes down looking. However, Texas cuts the deficit in half, putting 2 on the board. They trail 6-4 after 4. These two teams going back and forth in the finale. Oklahoma State jumped up 1-0 in the first. Texas grabbed the lead in the second. Cowgirls jumped back in front in the third. Texas responding, though, with 2 moments ago in the fourth. Here we go, Megan. What's going to happen as Molly Jacobson comes out for the 5th?
I don't know what's going to happen anymore, Alex. I can't predict anything the way this game's going. I think both of these teams just going, it's just punch after punch right now, and I think that's what you get in a 3-game series.
Well, Molly Jacobson has thrown 81 pitches up to this point. Her counterpart, Eberle, has thrown 101. Jacobson has allowed 6 runs, 5 earned, a walk and 2 strikeouts, getting the start today for Texas. Allison Febri, 2 hits in the series, a homer and 2 RBIs. But hitless today, a strikeout victim in the 3rd inning. And involved in a controversial play over at first. We've seen a few of them today.
Throughout the weekend, in fact. I mean, even go back to Friday, right? That was almost a back pick at first base that could have gone either way as well.
Close series as the count goes full. Texas, as they will face tougher and tougher competition as we get ready for the postseason. Looking to improve their numbers against ranked teams. That one passed Jefferson, who reached for it. The Longhorns entered today 2-8 against teams that are currently ranked in the top 25.
Designated player Haley Busby.
Mike White hopping out of the dugout. And it looks like, yeah, we're going to have a pitching change. That'll do it for Molly Jacobson. We'll take a timeout here at McCombs Field. Shea O'Leary coming up. Well, Molly Jacobson is done after giving up a leadoff single there in the 5th inning. Megan, what do you think Coach White saw that led him to send out the hook and end her day?
You know, I think maybe the 3rd time through the lineup, Alex, you're taking a look at who's coming up next. Busby had a double her first at bat. Pennington went yard her 2nd at bat. So probably a good time to make an adjustment here. I just feel like it's been a really long game so far already. Shea O'Leary, I think, had a really good start against this team on Friday. Not a bad time to make a change.
Shea O'Leary threw that complete game in the loss on Friday. 3 runs allowed, 6 hits, no walks in that contest, and 1 strikeout. Haley Busby Fouls one off. Pinch runner at first. Meanwhile, for the Cowgirls, the sophomore Macy Kunkanen takes over for Allison Febri. O'Leary has established herself as one heck of a closer this year and just a strong reliever in general. Entered the series tied for 21st in the nation in saves, and in 7 relief appearances this season, yet to walk a batter, and only 2 earned allowed. Busby sends one to right. And the grab is made by Ellsworth. Wind a little bit tricky out here this afternoon. But O'Leary gets through the cleanup hitter. Here comes Sydney Pennington, who busted this one open at least momentarily in the 3rd inning when she delivered a 2-out, 3-run jack. That point of the game, it made it 5-2 Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has had the Longhorns number as of late. The Cowgirls have beaten Texas 9 out of the last 11 times.
I don't know why that surprised me so much, because it's you and I calling these games for the past few seasons and always getting them home or away. But yeah, they definitely have been in the driver's seat.
Out hitting Texas today 8-3.
I like that right there. Even though you're behind 2-0, still having that much confidence in your changeup, and you have to. Shea O'Leary has an excellent changeup.
O'Leary picked up the 30th victory of her career last weekend against Kansas. 10-3 so far this season. Swing and a miss, and a big cut from Pennington. She was looking for home run number 2 there.
Take a look at this pitcher. O'Leary going to go up in the zone and away, and I love the fact you see Pennington, she sees that ball up in the zone, and absolutely you're right. Trying to go big fly.
Time called momentarily. Oklahoma State with a few extra base hits today. The 3-run homer and also the RBI double from Busby. This one lifted to left field. Burke tracks it for out number 2. So after a leadoff single by Febri, O'Leary comes into the game, induces a couple of flyouts. 2 away now for Reagan Wright, the catcher, who is 0 for 2. Another talented transfer, this one from UT Arlington. Program's all-time leader in runs driven in. This one to center field, right at Rhodes. So the runner is stranded. We move on to the bottom of the 5th inning, a 2-run game in Austin. Well, after throwing exactly the same number of pitches as she threw on Friday night, Carrie Eberle is done for this one. 101 pitches, 4 runs allowed. 2 of them earned, replaced by one of the greatest relievers in Oklahoma State history, Logan Simonek, who is 2nd all-time in saves, 1 shy of the program record.
Yeah, I think this is a good call right here. You know, just watching the way that Texas was able to scratch across a couple more runs. No need to let it get out of hand. You might as well throw someone out there that Texas hasn't even seen all weekend. A completely different look from Simonek. She's going to throw High 60s as well, probably not as hard as Eberly, has a great off speed. It's all about her location. And again, just a completely different look so that hopefully you can get away in Austin with a sweep. But as you see here, that off speed, she's got a great rise that she works up in the zone. And then again, that fastball, she has no problem with the location and she's gonna paint a corner with it.
4 saves this season for Simonek, 12 for her career, facing Mackenzie Parker to lead off the inning. By the way, a defensive replacement as well. Jordan Doggett, the Georgia transfer, taken over in left field for Alexander. So here we go. Parker, Ellsworth, and Sullivan due up. Things have gotten pretty quiet here at the ballpark. It's a loud crowd here through the first 2.5 innings. Texas grabbed their first lead of the series in the bottom of the second. There were a number of close calls, one at the plate, one over at first. But then after the Cowgirls put up 4 in the third, they have held that lead ever since. Parker today 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. Again, Oklahoma State, they won a program record 13 consecutive Big 12 games after dropping the conference opener to Kansas. They committed 5 errors. Kenny Gajewski called that performance, quote, disgusting, but an eye-opener. Ever since, they haven't lost, at least in conference play. So here we go. Parker looking to get going. The average at .402 on the season. Strike 1 from Simonek.
Something right away. I have to imagine the wristband's not on the same page there. Reagan White runs to the dugout to change it out. Luckily that pitch was pretty much right down the middle, and she hopefully wasn't anticipating it to do a whole lot of something different, because there's nothing worse. You call a drop ball and a rise ball comes or something.
I imagine that would be a problem.
Potentially for the umpire.
Right, ready to go. So here's Simonek with the 0-1 to Parker.
There's that off speed right from the get-go.
Talked about how great of a reliever she's been, but in her last outing had one of her roughest performances of the season, 3 earned in 4 innings against UT Arlington. .30 strikeouts and 28 walks on the season. Opposing batters hitting .263 against the grad student from Piedmont, Oklahoma. Kenny Gajewski, the head coach for the Cowgirls, said, I used to tell her to cover up her tattoos with a sleeve. But after a while, I said, you know what? You've earned it. You do what you want. You have had such a tremendous career here. You dress however you'd like. Starts off with a strikeout.
Yeah, a little surprised even that he would even suggest that, just knowing most the athletes that come to him is because they get to be who they are. I think that has everything to do with Reagan White behind the dish there, the way she's able to kind of stop that rise ball from moving any higher and keep it right at the top of the strike zone.
1 away for Taylor Ellsworth. Outside of the second inning, Texas has only been limited to a single. Single in the 4th. Ellsworth with the only 2 hits for the Longhorns yesterday, including the home run, which was her first hit in 3 weeks. Has walked today and struck out. As a pitching staff, Oklahoma State allowing opposing hitters to bat only .182 against the entire staff. Cowgirls returned their top 3 pitchers from a season ago when that was the best staff in the Big 12. And they ended the shortened season with the number 3 ERA in the nation. They are number 5 this year in that category.
A lot of that having to come with Coach Barkfeld and what he's brought to that pitching staff. He came in and got on staff last year. No surprise for what he was able to do at Tulsa, head coach there for 16 years. Most notably had Emily Watson there, an All-American that he was able to coach.
Well, Texas will now have the tying run coming up to the plate. Ellsworth earns her 2nd walk of the contest. Here comes Colleen Sullivan, who got a free pass. And when you look at the bottom 4 hitters in this lineup, Ellsworth, Sullivan, Smith, and Washington, they have reached 6 times, 4 walks and a couple of hits. That one misses. Well, the story for Simonek, the defense has had trouble letting her down at times this year. She has given up 36 runs on the season, but only 17 of them have been earned.
You know, I think about that, and you have to go back and think, okay, well, is that because when she's pitching, there's a lot more ground balls? Not that that means that your defense still needs to have your back with a ground ball, but what's the difference? Why all of a sudden does defense struggle with her on the mound?
Because it hasn't really been that case with the other pitchers when you look at their numbers. That one fielded by Naomi deep in the hole. They get one over at second. And Sullivan safe at first. The inning continues.
Like watching Naomi has been so good this weekend. She's strong up the middle, but what a great backhand. And the only place she has is to get that lead runner at second. Almost turning that double play.
I don't know if that fielder was touching the bag right there. But I don't know if we want to go there.
I'm not sure.
2 away. Here is J.J. Smith. This Oklahoma State defense has turned the most double plays in the Big 12 in each of the last 2 seasons, but unable to there. Smith doubled in the 2nd inning and walked in the 4th. He's now started 6 out of the last 7 games for the Longhorns. There's a strike, quick throw back to first. Well, if there was ever a picture that symbolized the energy of J.J. Smith, that is it. That's why they love putting her in the lineup. The .432 average doesn't hurt, but it's the energy. Naomi. Now, she's just been everywhere this entire series. Defensively for Oklahoma State. Coming up, we'll talk to the fellas over at the Dish with a preview of the series finale between the Horns and the Red Raiders. Don't forget, we got baseball coming up from the Dish in about a half hour. We'll talk to the guys soon as they just wrapped up the conclusion of game number 2, Texas falling to Texas Tech. Here we go to the final 2 innings at McCombs Field. Texas trying to avoid the sweep, down 2 runs as we head to the top of the 6th. Oh, look who's joining us, Greg Swindell and Keith Moreland. Fellas, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. You guys need a couple of runs. Well, Texas couldn't get a couple of runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. A 3-pitch strikeout. Silas Ardoin ends that threat in the 8th, and then the Longhorns can't come up with anything in the 9th. Outfield defense been a big part of it, but here's what happened as we came back to play.
Ryan Sublett came in, fastball, breaking ball, then paints Ardoin right there for the strike 3. Gets out of the threat. The 9th inning. Mike Antica would hit one about 400 feet. Dylan Carter would run it down, crashing into the wall. And
wow,
outfield play, defensive play for Tech has really won this series for them.
Yeah, Texas in survival mode now, guys, trying to find a way to win one of these 3-game set as we send it back to Alex and Megan.
Hey, we can relate to that. Texas softball trying to take at least one game of the 3-game set here. However, Oklahoma State leads off with a single against Shea O'Leary, courtesy of Michaela Richburg.
Yeah, I feel like both squads here over baseball, softball, just trying to find a way to get back in that winning column.
It's desperation time for these clubs. Pinch runner, meanwhile, taking over for Richburg at first base. Scotland David, the freshman. Now 9 hits on the day for Oklahoma State, 3 for Texas. Megan, the ongoing theme, we talked about it earlier in the game. The bottom 3 hitters in the lineup continue to get it done. All 3 of them have hits today in the 7, 8, and 9 spots. Richburg, Petty, and Alexander. And they have 10 hits combined in the series. This one drilled by Carly Petty, but right at Rhodes for the first down. Here comes Chelsea Alexander in the 9 spot. She's 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. One of the very best hitters in the entire Big 12, down at the bottom of the order for Oklahoma State. Alexander is now hitting .440 on the season after a couple of singles today.
Yeah, and a little interesting, right? Because last inning we saw Jordan Doggett get entered into left field. So now Alexander getting put back in. If you thought that was a defensive replacement, you just burned her. So now we won't be seeing Doggett come back up to bat or back into left field.
Doggett came in briefly earlier this series as well as a defensive replacement, as the count now goes 0-2 to Alexander. Texas trying to keep it a 2-run game. So we will head back up to the top of the order after Alexander's at bat. O'Leary coming out of the pen in this one. We were wondering who would start game 3. She started game 1, took the complete game loss, but pitched well. Courtney Day started game 2, and Molly Jacobson got the start earlier today in the finale. Eighth relief appearance of the season for O'Leary. Has also started 16 games. This one checked. O'Leary is there. 2 down. Couple of big outs there.
Yeah, I like O'Leary coming in relief. I think she has a really good look, especially coming after a Molly Jacobson. Jacobson from the left side, slower and spinny. It just makes O'Leary just look like more of a power pitcher too. It makes that 68 miles an hour feel a lot harder.
Has been one of the toughest hitters for Oklahoma State today. Kylie Naomi, a couple of singles and also a sac fly that brought in a run. So as we said, O'Leary, this is her 8th relief appearance of the year. In those 8 appearances, still yet to walk a batter, and only 2 earned runs allowed. Runner is going. David moves into scoring position. Oklahoma State now with more than 50 stolen bases on the season. One to Naomi, a .353 hitter. And O'Leary gets ahead. It's incredible to think that heading into today, Oklahoma State took the first 2 games despite Their top 2 hitters in the order, Naomi and Factor, going hitless through games 1 and 2 of the series.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. Yes, you had a great day out of Alexander, but what was your leadoff going to be able to do? And the fact that she was able to start the game with that single, she gets that first run in the first inning as well. It sets the tone. On the flip side, I feel like that's what Texas has been missing this weekend, specifically out of Jefferson. And Shannon Rhodes.
We will see Jefferson and Rhodes coming up to bat in the bottom half of this inning. Two with 2 away. Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming up for O'Leary. 1 hit allowed in an inning and 2/3. Yet to strike out or walk a batter. Again, Oklahoma State, by taking the first 2 games of the series, clinches at least the #2 spot in the Big 12 tournament. And they have 1 more regular season series to go against Oklahoma, even if they were to get swept there and Texas were to win the rest of their games. It wouldn't be enough, so Texas will battle with Baylor coming up next weekend for that #3 spot in the seeding of the upcoming Big 12 tournament.
I think for Texas, getting to get that first one here at home is also huge, right? You want to have that home field advantage to hopefully get that win #1 before having to finish Big 12 regular season up in Waco.
O'Leary ready to go. Zai Kopo smacks the glove. Lost her for her first walk of the game since coming out of the pen, 2 aboard. Naomi has reached for the 3rd time today.
Maybe a conversation just knowing Factor hasn't come up clutch yet. Maybe that was that conversation.
Factor 0 for 6 in this series, but still hitting .369 on the season with 23 runs driven in. Oklahoma State today got 4 hits with runners on and 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position.
Be a great time for Factor to get that first hit here, get a couple more insurance runs.
Factor, one of only 2 batters in the starting lineup for Oklahoma State yet to reach base. But a clutch hitter, batting .450 this year with runners in scoring position. That is the case right now. David on second, Naomi at first. The 1-2. Got her to end the inning. Shea O'Leary with her first strikeout of the game, and it couldn't have come at a better time. It ends the frame. On to the bottom of the 6th we go. Washington, Jefferson, and Rhodes coming up.
Longhorn Network Softball. He's brought to you by American Campus Communities, where students love living.
Well, in case you couldn't tell, a beautiful afternoon for softball here in Austin. 84 degrees and sunny, but Texas running out of time. The Longhorns down to their last 6 outs here, trying to avoid getting swept by Oklahoma State. And leading things off here in the bottom of the 6th inning will be the freshman Alyssa Washington. Texas looking for their first hit since the 4th inning, and since the 2nd They only have a single, and that is all. Longhorns grabbed their first lead of the series in the second inning, thanks in part to this hitter, Alyssa Washington, delivered a game-tying RBI single.
I think this Texas squad, I think they're having better at-bats. I think they're having longer at-bats. Now that Simonek's in, they at least were able to get a few good looks. I think what you saw out of her right away is she likes to get ahead of the batters, and you're going to see that off-speed within the first 3 pitches, and there you go. You see it again.
Brutal.
And it is a good-looking pitch. There's still a nice, tight spin on it, so I think that's what makes it a lot more deceptive to these hitters.
Misses there again. Logan Simonek with 12 career saves. The program record is 13. Texas has forced both Oklahoma State pitchers to throw a ton of pitches. Eberle only lasted about half the game after throwing 101 pitches. That matched her total from the complete game victory by her on Friday night. Washington working another deep count here. But Pennington is there, 1 away. Seven straight retired by Oklahoma State pitching. Back up to the top of the order, Janae Jefferson. Trying to spark a rally here. Jefferson with just 1 hit in the series so far. Entered the day for 1 for 6. Reached on an error in the first. Put Texas in front in the second with a sac fly. Hitting .434.
I think right now this is where Texas really needs Jefferson Rhodes to step up big time. This is pretty much your last-ditch effort. You've got 5 outs you're working with. And against a pitcher like Simonek, yes, she has the saves, but she has a 2.46 ERA. She only has 30 strikeouts in 48 innings, right? And she's walked 28, so you're taking a look at these numbers. This is a type of pitcher that Texas's offense should be able to get a couple runs against with the numbers Texas has shown all year.
Jefferson must have been listening. That'll bring the tying run to the plate.
And that was off the off-speed. She does a great job keeping her weight back, staying on time with this pitch. You kind of see her get that foot down, but she keeps her hands back and drives it right back up the middle.
There you go, Jefferson with her first hit of the day. And here comes the dangerous Shannon Rhodes, 1 for 3 with an RBI single. 15 home runs still on the season for Rhodes. And Simonek misses. 5 strikeouts in the series for Rhodes, but her last at bat again drove in a run.
Yeah, that was huge. You see Madison Boyd and looks like 28, excuse me, Kelly Maxwell in the bullpen.
Saw her pick up the win over Texas yesterday. Simonek again falling behind.
And I'd have to imagine, I know Coach Gajewski wants to have Simonek get some good innings in here right now. A great time against a really good hitting team. But again, at the end of the day, you want that W too. So maybe a short leash here, especially this part of the lineup for Texas.
Burke on deck, Iacopo in the hole as Kenny Gajewski looks on for Oklahoma State. They have limited this potent Texas offense, which came into the series top 10 in the nation in runs per game and batting average, to just 4 hits today and just 2 hits yesterday. That one roped to left field. And Rhodes has 2 hits in her last 2 at-bats. Tying run is now over at first.
Back-to-back hits on the off-speed as well, Alex. That one, just again, Semenuk leaving it a little bit too high in the zone. I feel like when she's on, she's able to get that to go away and keep it down at the knees. That one, just way too good for a hitter like Shannon Rhodes.
So there is limited attendance here at McCombs Field. We can hear what the players are saying. I'm wondering if they heard what you were saying moments ago, because they've responded. Jefferson with a single, Rhodes with a single. Here comes Lauren Burke, who has reached in 9 straight. And it looks like just like that, we're going to have a change in the circle. Let's see. We'll find out on the other side. We'll be back. 2-run game in Austin. If you're waiting for baseball, it's coming up soon. I promise. The finale between Texas and Texas Tech. The Red Raiders have taken the first 2 games of that series, and we'll send it over there as soon as this one is wrapped up. We are currently in the bottom of the 6th inning here, and there has been a pitching change. Oklahoma State going with Kelly Maxwell.
I think this is the right move right here. This is a message for Oklahoma State. They want to send, they are not messing around. They're going to bring in Kelly Maxwell, who against Texas yesterday got the complete game win. More importantly, I felt like the fact that she had the 9 strikeouts against Texas just looked so sharp yesterday, Alex. She was able to throw that curveball both sides of the plate. She's coming from the left-hand side. Really had Texas's number all day. The only person who was able to pick it up was Taylor Ellsworth, the only one with the 2 hits.
Maxwell's been unreal so far in her career. The sophomore in her very first college game threw a perfect game. The first player in Big 12 history to do that in their collegiate debut. Threw 2 more no-hitters after that, and then earlier this year combined on a perfect game with Carrie Eberle. So here we go. Lauren Burke coming up after consecutive singles. Knocks Semenuk out of the game. Maxwell entered the series with the 22nd best ERA in the nation and top 40 in strikeouts per game. Struck out 9 yesterday against the Longhorns. Taylor Ellsworth was the only batter to get a hit off of Maxwell yesterday.
Yeah, and they weren't just any old hits, right? She got the home run, and then the other one was a double. So definitely had Maxwell's number. Unfortunately, her teammates just couldn't figure it out.
Trying to today, but Burke has fallen behind 0-2.
She does it with that curveball. You're going to see her locate that to both sides of the plate. The backdoor curve, which will be inside to the lefties, and then she runs it away, that regular curve.
Jefferson on second, Rhodes representing the tying run at first. 1-2. Maxwell 14-2 this year, 20-8 in her career. Just 2 of the best starters in the conference. Maxwell and Carrie Eberle. 31-3 combined on the season. Burke over to second. Petty tags the runner. No, the runner is safe, but she gets the out at first. Reached for Rhodes, but was unable to get her.
Take a look, try to go for her. I like the fact that Shannon Rhodes just kept going. So I say right away they missed the tag. I'd say for Lauren Burke, that is a useful out for sure.
Texas looking for their first hit today in 2-out situations. Here's Mary Iacopo. The Longhorns have scored nearly 40% of their runs this year with 2 outs. Iacopo hitless today with a strikeout in the 4th inning. She has gone yard in 2 of her previous 3 games. That one misses.
Going back-to-back backdoor curves, working that outside part of the plate. More than likely not going to go with the riser inside to Iakopo. Probably an off speed or just live outside.
Tries to live outside, but falls behind. Maxwell with 115 strikeouts and just 24 walks on the season. Iakopo lifts one. Charging in from third is Pennington. A tense moment, but she makes the grab, and Texas leaves 2 on in scoring position. On to the 7th we go. Still a 2-run game. Here we go. Potentially the final inning of the weekend. Still a 6-4 game. Fans on their feet here at McCombs. Can the Longhorns rally? Shea O'Leary back out for another inning of relief. She has allowed just 1 hit, 1 walk, and a strikeout in 2 innings coming out of the pen. When we'll face the heart of the Oklahoma State order, Febrey, Busby, and Pennington.
This is a batter that's definitely in the back of O'Leary's mind. Febrey did go yard on her back on Friday. So you do want to be just a little bit extra careful with this batter.
Chop to Jefferson. 1 away. Coming up in the bottom of the 7th for Texas will be Parker, Ellsworth, and Sullivan, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Texas has been out hit 9-5.
Left fielder, number 10, Jordan
Now we know Doggett went in for Busby, not Alexander, which is why we saw her go back out. Sometimes someone needs to send us up the scorecard.
I rely on you for that.
Changes.
Doggett, the Georgia transfer. Swing and a miss. 235 hitter on the season. Batted .360 for the Bulldogs a year ago. And hit better than .315 in each of her last 2 years in Athens.
O'Leary feeling really good out there. That pitch before, 70 miles an hour. Again, I like her in relief, specifically after Jacobson. I think it's a good look for Texas.
Ooh, ahead of that one. O'Leary with a K.
Throwing 70 sure makes that changeup look extra slow too. This is an excellent off speed by O'Leary. She throws it out of the back of her hand. Doggett just not able to pick it up.
Here is Sydney Pennington. Made the catch to end the top half of the frame with 2 Longhorns on. Sullivan calls it off. Here we go. Bottom of the 7th on the way. Mackenzie Parker, Taylor Ellsworth, and Colleen Sullivan trying to save the day. Texas trying to rally as we enter the bottom of the 7th inning. The Longhorns have 13 come from behind wins this season. They are 1-3 this year when trailing. Entering the 7th. Mackenzie Parker set to lead things off for a Texas offense that came into the series averaging nearly 7.5 runs per game. Tied for the highest scoring offense in program history, but they have been limited by the tremendous Oklahoma State pitching staff, which has a top 5 ERA in the nation. So here we go. Maxwell back in the circle to face Parker at the plate.
I think for Texas, this is really where they got to dig down deep. This is where, if they want to continue to improve throughout this season, this is where they have to show that they can make an adjustment, especially against a pitcher like Maxwell. They saw her yesterday. Only Taylor Ellsworth was the one who was able to put together a couple hits. What did they learn from yesterday, and how can they make an adjustment, and fast?
Parker with 2 strikeouts today and a walk, falls behind 0-2.
Really, I feel like for a Maxwell who's going to throw both sides of the plate as a batter, you have got to commit to one side and stay on it. And when you pick it up, that's when you have to attack. Oh, this is close.
Parker's average has dipped below 400 for at least the first time in a month. Currently at 398. The Horns down to their last 2 outs.
Maxwell again just showing us why she is so good. She paints the corner with the curveball, the back door. She gets ahead of your batter, and then, oh yeah, I've got a rise ball too you've got to try to keep up with.
Here comes Taylor Ellsworth. Had Maxwell's number yesterday. 2 hits, the only 2 for the Longhorns. Off the ace, including a home run. Don't forget Texas baseball coming up. When this one comes to an end, we'll send it over to Zeke and Zonk at the dish.
We got to work on our nicknames.
I'm sure you had a cool nickname when you were a stud catcher for the Longhorns.
Nope, just old Willis. Or Cat's catcher.
Cat's catcher.
Or
Hey,
the
that's pretty good.
Or just the catcher with the long blonde hair.
Better than earlobe, that's for sure.
Is that what you were called?
I want to talk about it.
Okay.
The 1-1.
Like I said, we need to work on our nicknames.
Here is Ellsworth ready to go, fortunately. Walked twice already today, struck out in the second. We saw Eberle walk a career high against the Longhorns today. Texas earning a number of free passes. But with runners in scoring position, Horns hitting just 182 today. They need runners first. Ellsworth will provide one, and the tying run will come up to the plate again. She continues to get it done against Maxwell.
I think Maxwell a little tentative to Ellsworth. You saw her throw that changeup in the dirt. She's trying to go with that backdoor curve, and Ellsworth able to get just enough of that barrel on it to drive it to center field.
3 hits now off Maxwell, and Ellsworth will be replaced by MK Tedder over at first. So here comes Colleen Sullivan. She walked in the second inning. Sophomore from California, 1 hit in the series and 3 walks in the 3 games. Sullivan, a .359 hitter. Again, Texas 1 win this year when trailing in the 7th.
Good take right there. I feel like now that you know you're ahead of the count, this is the time probably that you're going to want to swing. The green light, anticipate that you're getting a curveball either side of the plate, but that's going to be thigh high. There she goes. I like it. I like the approach.
Maxwell has racked up 1 K today, her 116th on the season, make it 116 compared to 24 walks. One and 2. Throwing some heat. That one fouled back by Sullivan. Texas with 6 hits so far today. They've been limited in the extra base department. Just one of those, the double by J.J. Smith back in the 2nd inning. That was the story in game 1. They had 8 hits off Eberle, but 7 of those were singles. 2-2.
Yeah, and really in this game off of Eberle, they still only had 3 hits, right? So even though Eberle had the 5 walks, career high, she was able to keep Texas from barreling her up.
So one poked foul, we'll do it again. After this, the Longhorns have one more game here at McCombs Field during the regular season. That will be Friday night against Baylor. And the last 2 games of that series will take place in Waco. Still waiting to see if Texas will host a regional. You would think so at this point, but right now the NCAA has only announced 20 potential candidates. Of course, the Longhorns are on that list.
Longhorns, Oklahoma State, OU from the Big 12 all on that list. To imagine it's a shoe-in for Oklahoma. Being #1 in the nation, getting that, and right now Oklahoma State in the top 10.
Maxwell asking for a new ball with the 8th pitch of the at-bat on the way from the sophomore. Just having a terrific season. Again, averaging 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. Per 7 innings. 14-2.
In this case, I'm not sure why the umpire wouldn't ask for any more from the dugout. There's a whole bunch of new balls. Anytime a pitcher wants a new ball, you give her a new ball.
Well, some jeers from the crowd. There you go. That's the one.
Well, yeah, I know, but they don't get to throw it in from their dugout either.
Oh,
so I'm glad this umpire's going to go look at this ball.
Oh my goodness. The game started almost 3 hours ago, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, and this is interesting, Alex, because again, it's the home team that provides the game balls. And so that ball that just came from Oklahoma State's dugout. But again, you know, as an umpire, especially behind the dish, you're holding there you go. Went and got a whole fresh batch.
And by the way, Mike White has worn out that path to the field to talk to the umpires. There has been a number of discussions for a variety of issues throughout the day and the series. But here we go. She's got the right ball. 2-2 count. Tying run at the plate, 1 away.
I like it, Sullivan, right on the dish right now. She's trying to take away that outside half of the plate. And towed up on the line there and up in the box.
And she gets a new ball.
Don't bait me, Alex.
Sullivan is a 358 hitter with runners on. Why would I do that?
Because it's too easy.
Tedder at first. Febri tracking it, unable to make the grab. Lost it in the sun. A little bit of wind, too, out there today.
Sullivan just getting underneath this outside pitch. The right one to go after. That's tough. She tried to shield it with her glove at the beginning, and then once she moved it, probably looked right into that sun.
Texas with another opportunity. 10th pitch of the at-bat in this duel between Sullivan and Maxwell. This is unreal.
Yeah, and because she is on the plate there, now that pitch is looking hittable. Probably would have been ball 3, but at this point, if you can reach it, you might as well foul it off till hopefully you get something you can handle.
Sullivan in play. Petty backing up, called off by Richburg. 2 away here in the 7th, so Maxwell wins that battle. And a celebration by Richburg. Horns down to their last out. It'll be up to the freshman, J.J. Smith. What a season she has had. Her first year on the 40 acres, batting .422. Has delivered the only extra base hit of the game today for Texas, a double in the 2nd, and walked in the 4th. Has earned 7 walks on the season and has become pretty much a mainstay in the starting lineup over the last couple of weeks for Mike White.
I like
Strike
J.J.
one.
Smith in this lineup. I do think there was a reason he put her in after Oklahoma. He wanted that excitement, but I also just like her at bats. And it helps you look at her stats. There's no reason why she shouldn't be in that lineup. It's just trying to decide, is it a DP or in right field or behind the dish?
Texas down to their final strike, trying to avoid a sweep at the hands of Oklahoma State. The Cowgirls, meanwhile, searching for a program record 14th consecutive Big 12 win. Smith over to first base. Febri is there, and the Cowgirls finish off the Longhorns by a final of 6-4.
I think for Oklahoma State, we just watched why their pitching staff is so good. The fact that they were number 5 in the nation coming in here, they were able to shut down the Texas offense, who is the number 7 team in the nation when it comes to batting.
For Megan Willis, I'm Alex Loeb. That'll do it from McCombs. We send you across the street to the dish with Zeke and Zonk in the finale between the Horns and Red Raiders.